Good afternoon to the Parks Arts, as you can tell, it's an afternoon. I just had lunch. Parks, Arts, Education, and Equality Subcommittee. Today is October 18th, 2016. And the first item to order is call to the public. I do not have any cards. The second item is approval of the minutes on September 28, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the minutes, please say aye.
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 Item passes. Consent actions, items 2 through 3, intergovernmental operation agreement with Pendergast School District and the U.S. Department of Education Office Career Technical and Adult Education Performance Partnership Pilot Grant. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve items 2 and 3.
I'll second that.
There is a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Items 4 through 9 are for information only. That would be the Head Start monthly report, June through August, the review of Parks Recreation Board agenda, alternate park uses policy, Longview Park master plan update, and South Mountain Design Guidelines Manual, partnership with Public Works and ASU on composting opportunities. Any questions? All right, well, I see that. Item 10 through 13 is information, discussion, and possible action. Item number 10, Phoenix Public Library's kindergarten boot camp. Yes.
Madam Chair, can we move item number 13 up, seeing that Sal might need to leave pretty soon? And it might be a possible action item.
Okay, can I first do 10 and then 13, or do we need to move it now, Councilman?
Sal, do you,
I'm okay. I appreciate the offer on that.
You want me to move it up right now?
No, later.
Okay,
In the next-
I'll move it right after this one. Okay,
That sounds good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
item number 10. Rita, where's my kinder? I thought we were just gonna have my little kindergarten.
We have pictures, right? Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. I'm very pleased to be here today to talk to you about a wonderful library program called Kindergarten Boot Camp. We're very excited about this program. We've been experimenting with it for about 2 years, and it has quickly become an experience that everyone wants to have, a centerpiece in our literacy program. So with me today is Wendy Resnick, our Youth Services Coordinator, and Vicki Velatai, and she is a library assistant who teaches Kindergarten Boot Camp, and they're going to tell you all about it.
Okay. So there's a lot of parental anxiety when children start school. After pregnancy, it is the single biggest touch point for young families. The parents don't know what to expect. They don't know if their child's ready. They don't know how to prepare their child. So this has become a tremendous opportunity for the library to teach some of those skills. And we were lucky enough to use some grant funds to hire Vicki, who is a kindergarten teacher. And she took our curriculum and revamped it last year, aligned it with state standards. And the reason we do this, the reason it is so important, is the lack of school readiness is probably one of the major, if not the major reason that children are not reading on grade level. Less than 30% of our kids in Phoenix attend a quality preschool, and in some neighborhoods it's less than 15%. So they're not getting sort of these key early learning skills that prepare them for school, and kindergarten is hard. There are 80 standards for kindergarten in English and math, and they're expected by the end of kindergarten to have mastered basic addition and subtraction. They're expected to know their uppercase and lowercase letters, to retell stories. It's a lot to expect of children who maybe don't even know how to sit still and listen when they enter school. So Vicki is going to tell us now about how boot camp addresses these issues.
All right, so in a boot camp, families attend once a week for 7 weeks, and each week follows a similar structure so we can give them a consistent routine. We start with foundational skills like letter naming and counting, and then we move on to a read aloud and a skill building activity that are tied to early learning standards and the kindergarten standards. The instructor models the skill, and then families have a chance to practice immediately afterwards, and it's during this point that the parents get to become the teacher in the class and teach their own child, and if they have questions, the instructor is there. Last, the families receive an incentive from us, and it's something that they can use at home to keep practicing that skill. We modeled boot camp after a kindergarten classroom, but there's one major difference. The parents are active participants in the class, and the parents become the teacher. It's really a parent education course. We teach parents a new skill each week from a variety of subjects, and the parents receive weekly homework as well as the kids, so they can keep working on the skills at home. Our ultimate goal is for the families to take what they've learned and keep practicing at home. We gather extensive data during boot camp, and one of the things we gather is graduation week interviews with the families. During those interviews, we repeatedly hear that the children are now speaking in complete sentences at home, that they're using new vocabulary words from class at home, and that they now know more letters and numbers than they did before boot camp started. And about themselves, parents tell us that boot camp showed them they had no idea what it meant to be ready for kindergarten. Many of them tell us that boot camp gave them ideas on how to provide structure at home. It showed them their child responds well to set schedules and routines. It showed them strengths and weaknesses of their child so they knew what to continue working on. And it gave them simple teaching techniques that they could easily replicate at home. Parents fill out a pre and post survey for us, and on both of those surveys we ask, do you feel knowledgeable about the skills children need to be ready for kindergarten? On the pre-survey, our average, where parents rate themselves, is a 3.46, and on our post-survey, it's a 4.77. When asked, has boot camp taught you how to prepare your child for kindergarten, 99.8% of respondents said yes. Our missing 0.2% is one participant who was a teacher and said she already knew what boot camp taught. In 2016, we have finished 51 boot camps, and we have 11 underway or scheduled to finish by the end of the year. This year, we've held boot camps at 14 of our library branches, 6 Phoenix Parks and Recreation Centers, 6 school districts, as well as Changing Hands Bookstore, Native Health, and the Children's Museum of Phoenix. But no matter where we hold a boot camp, it's always free for families. By the end of 2016, we will have had approximately 848 families complete the program. So we talked about the impact on, with our numbers, pre-survey, post-survey, but here's an example from a family and the impact it had on them. This is Divia's family, and I was the instructor for her class. When class began, her parents told me they were worried. She had emotional outbursts, she had no impulse control, and they didn't know what to do at home. After seeing the structure and routine in boot camp, they started doing that at home as well, and they told me it really increased her focus and her ability to stay on task. When we got to the week that deals with executive function skills, her mom stayed after to talk to me and to thank me. And she said her family, well, this was really hitting home for them because they had no idea how to help with these skills at home. So not only did they learn more about them, but now they had ideas on what they could do to practice at home. If you want more information, you can find it on the kids page of the Phoenix Public Library website. When you click on our boot camp square that you see up there, you're taken to a list of all our upcoming classes and links to register. Any questions?
I think it's just exciting to know that we're impacting our community in many different ways at a very young age, and also families on what is needed. Sometimes as families or parents, we don't know. We don't have a manual, and sometimes we need that extra assistance or be with a group that understands the dynamics we face with young children. And so I think it's you demonstrated how it's impacting our community. Any other comments?
Just have a comment. I agree. I think this is incredibly important for our children, and the more opportunities we have to provide early childhood education, the better we will be as a community and as a city, and we'll see the dividends pay off as our economy moves forward. It's all tied to education, especially catching our children at such an early age. So thank you so much for your effort. My question is, are all of the classes, the education, is it all in English, or is it going to be bilingual?
No, we hold bilingual classes. Depending on the instructor, sometimes we'll show up and just assess, do we need to have a bilingual class or not, and change it right there. And sometimes we advertise it as bilingual from the get-go.
I think it's awesome. The bilingual piece of it is just part of our education. Some of the top schools in Arizona are actually teaching classes, just dual language classes, and I think that's part of it. So if I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that it's being advertised that way as well, and I'm sure it's going to be looked at as we move forward and as programs continue to expand and trying to make things dual language. I think it's really important. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We will be moving item 13, park land sale near Cuban Park.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. On April 1st, 2015, the Murphy School District approached the City of Phoenix to purchase a vacant land just south of Cuban Park. And it's the land that's right there in the red outlined area. As you can see, it's a very small portion of land. It's a 0.39 acre parcel, and currently there's no plans to develop it, and we do not have any funding available either for the park. If the land was sold and developed, it would be a connection point from Buckeye Road to Cuban Park, which we currently do not have. People have to walk all the way around to get to the park. And it also would allow accessible walkway into the park itself, and you can see that here. This is a picture of the land up close, and you can see the gate that's there, ready for connectivity, but no connectivity quite yet. So the Murphy School District proposed that they expand the parking lot, and so we've taken the liberty to kind of just show you what the parking lot would look like next to the existing parking lot for their Murphy Education and Health Center, which is right there next to the existing parking lot next to Jack Cuban Park, or school. So it's a health center and an education center for them. If we were to get approval to move this forward, we'd work with the Finance Department through the land sale process, which will include appraising the property and then going out for a request for proposal. We've had several meetings. The community meetings were held with citizen input. We did not get much attendance at these meetings, even though it was advertised. We also presented to the Village Planning Committee, and there was no opposition at that point. We did also go to the Parks and Recreation Board for another public hearing. No opposition at that time either. And so today we're here to get a recommendation to move forward, to start the process for real estate, to start its due diligence. We think it'll take until January to do that. The school district is very excited about the opportunity. Obviously, they'd have to be successful in the RFP process. And at if any time during any of these processes, this is our typical process to sell any parkland, we deemed as a city or we thought this was not the appropriate use, we could stop the process at any time. So that's just something to note. So with that, it is our recommendation as a Parks and Recreation Department that we move this forward in the process, helping with connectivity for not only our park, but also allowing a better situation for the school next door, and they would obviously have to purchase the land.
Councilman Nowakowski?
Yeah, this is actually in my district, and I just really want to thank our park staff and actually all of our staff for really working hard, making this community a vibrant community. At one time, Individuals were even afraid to walk through the park, and now it's lit up, and we have movies in the park and all kinds of activities, after-school programs, and what a great jewel for that community. And what would really be nice is if we could get that motel next door, because that's the next big battle that the community is fighting over. There's this motel that's right next door to the park and and this future parking lot. So if we can work on that in the future, if there's any sources or resources that we can actually purchase that, that would be great.
Madam Chair and Councilman Nowakowski, we'll certainly look at all options.
All righty. With that, I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second that motion. I'll second the motion, but I do want to make comments based on what you said, Ingrid, that at any point this can be stopped. It's one of those things we have to be very careful of. This is parkland. It's open space. Given who the prospective buyer is, the Murphy School District, what they want to do on the property, I can certainly see why staff would recommend it, and I can certainly see why the councilman would also recommend it in this district. And so I'll second the motion. I'm glad to see that that you've done your diligence. You'll continue to do that in the community, letting people know what's going on in the area. We have to be considerate of not just the people in that area, but people who love our parks, because they may think that if it's that simple just to purchase parkland in this particular area, then same could be done in their neighborhood park. And obviously, every decision is independent. There is a public process. There are steps that we have to go through. But again, given the prospective buyer, Murphy School District, and what they want to do with this piece of property, I think it's a good thing. So I'll second the motion.
Inger, I've had several discussions your discussions, but in recently discussions regarding the sale of park land, and it possibly, the sale of the land, if anything is not tied to it, as to if we purchased it, and you can give me an example, but if we purchase it with transit dollars or any other dollars or grants, that if there's anything left on repaying it back, then we could put this proceeds into the 3PI.
So, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, if the property was purchased, say, with impact fees, then it would have to go back to the impact fee fund. If it was purchased with bonds, but the bonds were paid off, then there's better opportunities to do different things. But if the bonds were not paid off, it would need to go back to the bond program. So each property is different, and so we would have to evaluate that and deal with each individual property as it comes up.
So I guess I'm going to ask you if we could look into creating a policy regarding the sales of park land, and if there's no money attached to it, or we have to repay a bond or however, then that it would go back to 3PI.
Madam
And
Chair.
I think we probably would have to work with the Parks Board.
Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, I will draft something and we'll get it on a calendar to go through the proper channels to get it to the next step, to either discuss it, approve it, or whatever the next step would be.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I think we need a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Now we're back to item 11, tomorrow's Involved Leaders Today program update.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. I'm Chris Hallett, the Director of the Neighborhood Services Department. I'm joined here today with Linda Dodd, our Deputy Director of our Neighborhood Engagement Division, and she's joined by Tom Montero. He is a current student of the program, and they are both going to help present this overview to you today. This is a great program and tool that we been using. It's a staff-initiated and driven program since 2007. they're going to highlight a lot of the successes, and it's very time intensive for students to participate in this. So definitely want to thank Tom, and both his parents are here in our audience, his father Tom and Bonnie Montero. Thank you all for your commitment to this program. It's a great neighborhood engagement tool that we use, as well as a leadership development for our youth. And so I'll let Linda kick it off.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. This program began in 2007 with a grant from the Kroger Foundation, and with just $10,000 that year, we have been able to grow this program steadily since 2007, and I am really excited to share with you the wonderful things that we've done with this program. And you're going to hear from Tommy in his own words what he thinks about it as well. And most currently, we are funded by the Gila River Indian Community, and they gave us a grant to continue on with this program. Now, TILT is it's a free program. It's a year-long youth engagement program, and we kickstart it with an intensive 5-week training program. And we really focus on leadership development, public speaking, and community service. And the two photos that you see here, these are our TILT students who are participating in public speaking events. We like to give them real-world experience so that they know what it feels like, i.e. what Tom is doing here today. We have Ingrid Marquez, who is participating in one of our community events, and the young woman in the maroon shirt in the middle of the second picture, that is Daniela. She is currently a junior at Gardner-Webb, and she actually took 4th place at the Junior Achievement Public Speaking Contest, and that was a significant achievement. None of our TILT students have achieved that level. She was the highest one. But they are committed to meeting every other month through that 12-month period, and they also plan and implement community service projects. So they go out into the community, they volunteer, and they're also going to be participating in the Blightbuster Volunteer Program as the youth. And we are training them to be that next generation of community leadership that we are trying to grow today. Now this year, we are focused on growing and leveraging our partnership with the My Brother's Keepers initiative. And in working with MBK initiative, we will enhance our efforts in the pillars where we can have the most impact and already have success. So we pulled out the 4 pillars where we already engage and we will grow in the efforts. So for pillar 3, 98% of our TILT students are currently graduating from high school. And that beats the Arizona average in Maricopa County of only 80%. So these are awesome kids. They're very successful, they're engaged, and they're very driven. Pillar 4, 64% of our students are either have been or in college right now. That could be a community college, it could be the 4-year program. Pillar 5, this is the employment preparedness. We are going to we have been partnering with Junior Achievement, provide our students with financial literacy. It's very important for them to have a basic, sound understanding of financial matters and how to manage checking accounts, how to plan for college. And in the near future, we are going to be developing internship program opportunities for them because we want them to have a leg up in their career advancement. Pillar 6, safety from violent crime. This one is kind of near and dear to my heart. If you think about it, it's really hard to participate in school and do well in school if things are not safe and well at home. And so we want to make sure that we spend the time to educate our kids about domestic violence awareness, being Domestic Violence Awareness Month this month. But we have the prosecutor's office, we have our police department, we have our human services. They are our internal partners. They come in and provide education. And what I found saddening but also hopeful, roughly 30% of our current TILT kids were standing in line to receive information about the domestic violence. So I'm very hopeful. It's really hard at that age to go and ask for help and talk about what's happening in their home. So we focused on creating a learning environment that is fun. Tom, you're going to tell them it's really fun, right? Yes? Okay. They develop relationships, and when you think about what keeps you coming back for more, it's the relationships that you form. And so we create an environment where they can do that. It's not just from other students or in their own school districts, it's across the entire valley. And the picture that you see on top, that's the class that Tom is currently participating in. We have 23 students from all areas of the valley. And then you can also see the Camp Collie, the picture to your left. They participated in Camp Collie. I want to thank Inger for hosting our kids up there. They were able to spend 2 days, and they really focused on the leadership and team development skills. And in prayers, we've also done the ropes program, and this, I'd want to do that one. That one looks like a lot of fun. So they learn to build trust with each other so that if they're in what they perceive to be a dangerous situation on the higher wires, which I think I would, then they can count on their teammates to catch them if something happens to them. Now, we have a diverse mix of students who have been benefiting from the TILT program since the beginning. And we've had 270 participants, and of those, 72% are Hispanic, 17% are Caucasian, 8% are African American, 2% are Native American, and 1% are Asian. I want to show you, what do we get out of this program? What do our students get out of this program? And I love these graduation shots. I'm going to talk about Jackie Granillo, who's on the left, in a little bit. But in the middle, you have Katya. She provides free violin lessons to her community. And it's really important for us to show them and create a desire in them to give back to the community, because that's really what this program is all about, is you take that leadership skill and you give it back to your community. And on the right, you see Raymond Aguirre. He provided nearly 300 hours of volunteer time at the Washington Community Center, and he's continued to do that in college. And what that shows us is they've learned those skills, and they're going to take that on to college, and our hope is they will continue to do that after college back in our Phoenix community. Now, going back to the 270 graduates, just want to show you how really successful we are. We talked about 98% of them graduate from high school, 64% are in college. 1% so far have completed college, and one has even completed a master's program, which I'll be touching on shortly. Now, out of all the students, we wanted to highlight these three. They give us a really unique perspective. We have Miguel Lopez. Now, he was valedictorian of his graduating class at Phoenix College. And he transferred to ASU, and he studied business and received his undergraduate degree, but he also received his master's in accountancy from ASU. We have Vidi Hernandez. She earned her bachelor's at Grand Canyon University, and if you've never heard her story, I hope you get an opportunity to, because that really showcases how someone who came from an underserved community really rose up to the top, and she fought her way to get her education. And she currently serves as the Public Policy Director at the Center for Neighborhood Leadership. And she also continues to serve as a mentor to the TILT students. And the last one that you see is the young girl jumping up at NASA, Jackie Granillo. She is a sophomore at Smith College, which is a very prestigious university on the East Coast, and she's studying engineering. She got a very hard-won internship at NASA. She is just an awesome human being, and this particular university, we did some research on it, and it was attended by the First Ladies Nancy Reagan and Barbara Bush. She also is in the top 2% of her college class. That is phenomenal. Now, these are just a few examples how the TILT programs have helped engage our students grow in their leadership potential and academic and professional excellence. Now, I want to turn it over to Tom Montero. He is currently a senior at North High School. And Tom, I'm going to kind of talk about you like you're not in the room, okay? So I'm going to brag on Tom, because what he's been able to accomplish in his high school career is phenomenal. It's something that we all as parents would love to see in our children. He is a member of the National Honor Society. He has received the Academic Excellence Award. He plays 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball. And you know how tough it is to go through a rigorous academic program, but then you layer in all the sports, and that really, I think, you shine. He was also a member of the robotics team, and he's also an interbaccalaureate candidate. And that's a very rigorous program. It's a college preparatory program. So I wanted you guys to hear directly from Tom about what the TILT program has meant to him and what his experience has been.
Okay, so good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, and good afternoon, committee members. My name is Tom Montero, and I'm an 18-year-old senior at North High School. I joined TILT because I wanted to be a stronger leader, and I needed help with speaking in front of people. So far, TILT has helped me in my English, Spanish, and digital photography classes. I've presented in each of those classes formally and informally. In TILT, I like that we had to present an idea right after we were told what the topic was. It helped me with speaking on the spot, and even though I need much more practice, TILT has helped me improve a lot. After high school, I am planning to go to ASU and study aerospace engineering, astronautics, but I am also looking at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. After college, I would like to come back and be a speaker for the TILT program. And finally, Madam Chairperson and committee members, I hope you continue to support the TILT program, because it does make a difference in our lives, and it does help us now, but it will also help us in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. You go Mustangs, right?
Yeah.
Any of my colleagues have anything to say? Councilman,
Can we all think of a greater investment that we can possibly make in our city than programs like this? And Tom, you're a spokesperson right now. You're gonna, I'm sure, do great things in college and after college, but you're doing them right now. And I gotta say, North High Mustangs, my brother, my older brother, who sometimes watches council meetings, and hopefully he's watching today. He's also North High Mustang, but you seem so much smarter than him.
not very nice. I'll stick up for him.
No, I think he would agree, actually. So I just met you, and I'm incredibly proud of you. And as you're going through the presentation, some of the things that are coming to my mind are things that you're covering. How are we tracking our students? Who are our students? What are these success stories? Because at the end of the day, we need to be investing more in programs like this, and we can't get there without bringing Tom out and without talking about these great stories that you're clearly tracking and highlighting. And so I am fully supportive. I know that, Laura, you being our education champion, I'm sure you're obviously very supportive, but thank you. This has been the highlight of the day, listening to you, Tom.
Hi, Tom, how you doing? So what can we do as a city to brag about this program or to recruit more young people? Or what are some of the highlights of the program that you would really want to focus on and try to recruit people, right?
It helps a lot with community service because we have to go out and help, but also like it helps us with speaking. And like before, I'd probably not, like I wouldn't have I wouldn't have come because like speaking in front of you guys is kind of nerve wracking. But with Ray's help and Shirley and Francisco and all the, or Fernando and all the other TILT mentors, like they help us. So like will help us in the future, like with job interviews and scholarship interviews and stuff like that. So it'll help you for the future.
What's so great about this program is that sometimes our parents are so busy, they have 2 jobs, and sometimes they want to help us out, but they're just so busy with their own lives that you don't have that, what you just called mentors, individuals that can help you fill out those forms to go to college or even just to help you with questions you might have with homework. My son goes to Brophy and he brings these homework assignments. I look at it, I go, oh my God, I don't even know how to answer some of these things. And what he does is he goes to the library and he asks an individual, can you help me with this? And I think it's really important that we as parents need to understand that we don't have all the answers sometimes, and we have to reach out to programs like this, our mentors that can actually help our children get to even a higher level than we're at. So congratulations to you and all the parents too for allowing their young ones and their teenagers to participate in this and to be a part of this program too.
Thank you. So Tom, you represent Phoenix Union well, so I'm glad you're sitting in front of here and expressing yourself. Let me just tell you, as we get older, it gets a little bit better, but we're always still nervous. So the nervousness will never leave. You just get a little bit more confident.
Right.
And if you make a mistake, you just keep on moving. But thank you for being a part of it, because you represent our city and you represent the young people within our neighborhoods that have the same leadership skills as you, if not, that you're able to be in the neighborhood to also demonstrate those leadership skills to the young ones. So I'm very proud of you, and the fact that your parents are sitting here pushing you, that's really good. The other piece is I like to thank the mentors. I know there's probably many mentors, but I know 2 of them. I know Ray and I know Fernando. So I want to thank the mentors because it does take a dedication. It does take a special personality and some patience to understand, and great listening skills. So congratulations to you and all those that have participated. And I also want to thank our sponsors for believing in this program and making sure that it continues within our city. So thank you. This is a great story. Thank you. Our next item, is item 12, efforts to increase citywide access to youth coding classes. Okay, Rita, this is one of the items that Councilman Valenzuela is very proud of. Thank you.
Yes.
Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, today we are here jointly, Parks and Recreation and the Library Departments, to talk to you and give you an update on Code Phoenix and the city's effort to jointly allow access and opportunities in both parks and recreation facilities and libraries for youth coding classes. And I will turn it over to Rita, because really some of the programs and stuff that they've already been doing, we want to talk about those, and so I'll let her talk about her programs in the library department.
Thank you, Inger. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. So as you know, STEAM programs, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, have become a vital foundation piece for education efforts for our children. Specifically, coding programs and the skills they build are now known as the new literacy. Coding programs assist children in developing critical thinking, problem solving, and computational skills, which help them better understand the world around them. Children having access to these programs do better in school, and upon graduation from high school have better continuing education and career opportunities. Phoenix Public Library has been offering free coding programs in its Mach 1 makerspace, which is located on the 4th floor of the Burton Bar Library, since 2014. Different classes are offered, such as Coder Dojo, which helps kids and teens learn the basics of coding using free online resources, 3D modeling classes, which introduce kids to 3D animation software, Robotics Club, where kids use basic coding principles to program robots. That's a lot of fun. And Little Bites, which introduces kids ages 4 to 7 to coding concepts. And building on this interest and the attendance at these programs, Parks and Recreation Department partnered with us this summer to launch Code Phoenix at the Maryvale Community Center and at Palo Verde Library, where 127 students that were in the Parks program participated in the 8-week Code Phoenix program. All in all, the coding programs have been hugely successful. In 2015, 9,102 community members attended one of the 440 programs that we offered in Mach 1 at the library. Code Phoenix also proved to be a big success this summer, with a total of 127 students who did 477 sessions and completed a total of 163 coding tasks. Code Phoenix participants were surveyed, and the results showed that more than 80% felt very excited about learning more about coding and had fun while learning. Over 60% of the participants felt they learned a lot about coding and would attend a program again. Building on that momentum, the Phoenix Public Library and Parks and Recreation Departments would like to explore opportunities to expand Code Phoenix into more libraries and community centers. In the current fiscal year, the library received additional program budget funds that will be used to expand the programming into 3 additional library locations: Harmon, Palo Verde, and Yucca libraries.
And I think the opportunity also to make sure we're providing consistent programs both in libraries and recreation centers is where we want to explore for the future. And currently we don't have any funding for the recreation side. So we want to come and get some feedback from you all and get some direction on what we should do for the future. And the locations we've identified in the Parks and Recreation Department are listed on the screen: Sunny Slope Youth Center, Vernell Coleman Youth Center, Brett Tarver Learning Center, and Mountain View Community Center. So we wanted to just give that information, give that update to you, and encourage us to code on.
You want me to?
Sure.
I have a speaker on item 12, Kelly Smith. If you could come up to the mic. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the council. And my name is Kelly Smith. I am a local. I am involved in coding and actually have worked with the library and the parks on this Code Phoenix project, along with, I know, several other people in this room. I'm a true through advocate of this. Started as a volunteer in Mesa, where I live, in 2013. Just walked into the library and sort of as an experiment said, let's see what happens if we teach some kids coding And the result has been a surprise to me. Way more interest from the community, way more magic happening with these kids, and it's been interesting as I've listened today to some of these other programs, just the light bulbs that are going off and the empowerment that comes as you watch a child or a teenager sit down and make something in software, be able to create, a video game or an animation that plays, and they can create a website and send it to their friends. I've done this now with lots of places where we just crossed 100 code clubs that we're supporting. That's locations all over 5 states. And as I do that, I've been able to see that kind of process happening over and over again. I believe very strongly in this. I just want to support what's going on here. This is an excellent first step as we've done this over the summer. The work that's been happening now for years at Burton Bar is amazing. And just so building on all of that, I would encourage more of this for all the Phoenix kids.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, if I may, our intent, and it was implied, but I will state it, is to make sure we get this consistently to all community centers, so that no matter where you are in the city of Phoenix, and all the libraries, no matter where you are in the city of Phoenix, it's the same program, it's the same opportunity, so that this vital opportunity for learning that will really help kids be successful in the future is offered across the city, no matter what part of the town you live in.
Councilman Valenzuela?
Yeah, thank you. I've been waiting for you to call on me.
I know. You gotta raise your hand.
First, I will say to Rita, you've been doing such an amazing job. You are the nation's #1 librarian, and it's fitting that you are right here in Phoenix. So thank you so much for all the programs that you already are managing and starting, creating, recreating. And to our speaker, Kelly, thank you so much for all of your effort in working with Rita and working with our office and the pilot program that we had over the summer in Maryville, in the Palo Verde Library. And that was an important place to have it. Now, coding is important for every kid. Every industry today, in some way, shape, or form, is a tech industry. And so STEM education is more important than ever. And computer science is more important than ever. And I'll tell you, there's a stat, I believe it's 75% of schools in this country do not offer computer science. So as we continue to move that forward, I will tell you that I don't believe, I think education is within the purview of, with the legislature, but I will tell you that it's in my purview personally as a parent as well. It's certainly within our purview here at the city, and we should be doing everything we possibly can to be sure that our children are equipped with the tools needed to compete in the 21st century economy. And in order for us to do that, this is a great way to start. It's about introducing coding, computer science. Not every kid is going to want to create the next great app. Some will. But this is about teaching our students about those STEM fields. It's about teaching our students about problem solving, giving them a safe place to fail, if you will, because we all have to pick ourselves up and continue moving forward. And of course, it gives us a chance to exceed. And I will tell you, people like Kelly over here will tell you, and others that are in the tech and innovation sectors, coding, unlike most other industries, have really found a way to capture the interest of especially our students. There was a young man that I met through Cahoots. I worked with Cahoots to put on a coding event just a couple months ago. This young man, Gustavo, who I'm going to go visit here soon because he just became president of his student council. His kid's in 8th grade. He's an amazing kid. But he even learned speaking skills by presenting his product, right? So Gustavo is from Maryville, and he works at his dad's tire shop, and he has the best English. This is according to Gustavo. So he's the front person. He works with the customers on whatever repairs that they need. He felt like he was behind, like many kids, on technology. So he got himself into this coding academy that Cahoots is putting on, and he actually won an award. And he sent our office an email just to talk about his experience, and he said that captured him, and now he wants to solve real problems using things like coding and STEM. It's important for us to have programs like that in Maryville and in South Phoenix, just as important as it is to have it in North Phoenix or Arcadia, Artuki, or wherever else. I will say that today's tech companies, and with this skill, there is a major gender gap. It's not even close between male and female. Male being the people who are actually taken to it or in the past have had the opportunity for whatever reason. And frankly, people of color are really missing the opportunity to have this. And you think of the demographics that we have here in Phoenix, I'll tell you, just in my district alone, in District 5, and we're very proud of this, more than 50 languages are spoken in District 5 every single day. And that's part of our strength. So as far as I'm concerned, our goal, and the goal behind this is to get coding, computer science into every library we have, all 17 libraries. Our mobile units, the goal is to make this type of education and this type of opportunity accessible, equitable, and free to every kid in Phoenix. So that said, thank you for finding the $50,000 internally to help seed it. We are going to need private funds to help move this forward. The direction, as I see it, is to look for some of those opportunities to get these programs privately funded. I have had conversations with Mr. Juan Salgado on the Phoenix IDA, who soon will present an opportunity to his board, who I believe that we will find part of the seed funding through the Phoenix IDA, but I've had conversations with many corporations, many foundations about this idea, and many people would like to step up and would like to help make this a reality. So that said, I know that this is up for discussion and possible action. I would like to make a motion to move this item to the full council.
It's a discussion.
Just discussion. It's an update.
Are we allowed to make
Mayor?
this?
You can recommend that we take it to the council. You're not actually taking action, though.
Okay, then my recommendation is that this is moved to the full council so that we can actually move forward in moving Code Phoenix, making it a reality, putting it into our libraries, and of course mobile units and community centers. I've spoken with school principals who would like to also partner. And again, like anything else, it comes down to funding. This is an opportunity for us to move this forward and have it heavily funded in partnerships, public-private partnerships with the private sector, many of whom I've already spoken to and would be willing to help with this. So this is just a win all the way around. It's a win for the private sector because we are growing our workforce. It's certainly a win for our city, but most importantly, it's a win for every student like Gustavo who will have an opportunity to learn this skill in his or her own neighborhood.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would have to agree strongly with Councilman Valenzuela's assessment of this. I like the idea. When you look at how children learn, a lot of them learn because of their parents. We're in a situation with my family where we're able to teach our kids these things. We all went to college. Some of us had some graduate level classes, and we're all in a professional field. But there are a lot of families out there that aren't. Some families have had their parents maybe go to school just for a few years, and they're not adept at teaching their children these things when they come home. It's not just enough of what's happening in the school. That's a good place to start, and it's a place that's really been carrying the largest part of the burden. But the real work goes at home and other places. So if they're not at home, if they're not able to do this because the parents aren't capable of doing it, then you've got to find another way of being able to provide that knowledge to these children. I mean, I use this as an example. My parents both were, my dad graduated from 6th grade and my mom was from 4th grade, and that was it. And to this day, even my mother, she constantly says, I wish I could have taught you more. Well, they did the best that they could, and actually I thought they did a great job. But a lot of these families, when you look at the family unit, they don't have the ability to teach their children these things. They just don't, and they're not going to. It's because it's outside of their realm. So I like the idea of moving this to the full council. I'd like to offer to Councilman Valenzuela as well, if you'd like to. I think I know some of the business guys. I'd love to be able to approach them on this. I think it's a great idea.
Councilman, thank you for the offer. I absolutely. I think we should all work together to make this a reality, again, to make this type of education and opportunity accessible, equitable, and free to every kid in Phoenix. So yeah, I appreciate your support on this.
Councilman Nowakowski?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I just really want to thank Rita for really changing the whole face of the library. I mean, it's becoming more and more as a community center. I mean, you're working for, if you want to find a job, you can go to the library, they'll help you out. You have access to computers, to high technology. If you have a great idea for the future, you can go to the library and you can come up with great ideas. You can get that mentors and the help there. And now with this, I mean, it's just incredible. You had some statistics there. You had 60-40. What was that? What you're saying? After the program, you asked some of the students, and 60% of them said, what was it exactly?
80% felt that they learned about coding and were excited to learn more, and 60% said that they would attend these programs again and continue with their learning.
Now, how about the 40%? Did we ask them, what can we do better, or how can we improve the program, or what was missing, or why they weren't satisfied?
We didn't ask that question on those particular surveys, but we did speak with kids in the class, so I do believe the staff has some input on that.
Okay, that'd be great, because I believe this is a great program, and sometimes we just got to fine tune it so young people feel that they're more engaged. And I'm 100% supportive, but I'd like to go back and maybe look at the 40% and just ask their opinion on how can we make it better, or what was missing that would engage them into the program even more so.
Definitely. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
So thank you. What this does is, I think with all our efforts, and especially Councilman DeCiccio and Councilman Valenzuela, I'm glad they agree on something. So, and they're working hard to find additional dollars. What it also does, I just want to tell you, Councilman Valenzuela, that us women are solving world problems, and then we'll move to the STEAM area. Just letting you know right now that that's what we're doing.
You don't have to let me know. I already know, Councilwoman.
So the great thing about this is that they're really life skills that young students or the youth are learning at a very young age, and that's what's exciting, because they're learning at their critical age of, sounds like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they're learning analytical skills, they're learning strategy, how to face their fears when they fail, and how you pick yourself up. They're motivated, and the really key piece is access and equity across our city. And so it's exciting that we are going to move this forward and make it happen all over the place. So thank you, Rita, and thank you, Inger.
Thank you very much.
Our next item is called to the public, and I don't think I have any cards. Any future agenda items?
The one that you were talking about, the vacant land, park land, if we can get a report on that, and maybe how do we create safeguards that you were talking about. One of the things I like to see is if we take a piece of property and sell it, does that stay within that district area, or does that go into some type of general fund? I know that in the past, it actually stays within that area for parks funding and stuff like that.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.